सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायामुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीं श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय नंदनाय च गोपकुमाराय नमो पंकजनाभाय नमो पंकजमालिने पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रे ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम्। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाशादेशकारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। योऽन्ता प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत किल शक्तिधरा स्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। कथाञ्चन स्मृते यस्मिन् दुष्करं सुकरं भवेत् विस्मृते विपरीतं स्यात् श्रीचैतन्य नमामि। Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming for the Sunday Love Feast class. Today I will be speaking on part 2 of the class I gave on Friday evening on mind. So Friday we discussed that there are 3 spaces where we can live in our inner world. That's like in the outside world. There is your office, there is home, and there is temple where your body can be present. Similarly, in the inside world, there can be either, what are the 3 houses? What is the first one? Lowest one? Pleasure house. Or pleasure house is also, what is the philosophy of somebody who lives in pleasure house? Sense gratification. So pleasure house is the lowest house where the philosophy is sense gratification. When we are in this house, externally wherever we are, internally we are thinking of enjoyment. The second house is called problem solver. That's a house where there is a problem solver, and that is the philosophy of struggle. Person is constantly struggling. We are busy solving problems, filling gaps, thinking of what to do, all those things. That is second house. And what is the third house? Shelter. And what do we experience in that house? Peace. So are you a pleasure seeker most of the time? Are you a problem solver? Or are you a peace experiencer? If you learn to live in the space of surrender or shelter, at least sometime every day, we will come to a stage where we can experience peace all the time. So we discussed this in great detail on Friday. Today we will discuss more about the surrender house. Surrender, shelter house, the house where we experience deep peace. So I gave an analogy of the horses, the chariot. So the pleasure seeker is compared to who in this chariot analogy? Who will answer? I gave an analogy of the chariot person driving. Anybody knows? So in the person who is enjoying the senses, self gratification is his philosophy, is a pleasure seeker. So his position is like what in the chariot analogy? What is his situation? His situation is like a person who is in a chariot where horses are running in all directions. He is not in control. He is not holding the horses. One who is living in the second house, problem solving, his comparison is done with who in the chariot? Somebody who is trying to control the horses, pull the reins. And the person who is experiencing peace, he is compared to what? One who is in the space of surrender. What is he doing in the chariot analogy? So what is he doing? He has surrendered. So he is similar to the first person. He is not controlling the horses. But in the first case, who is controlling the horses? The mind. The last case, who is doing? Krishna. So we have to live in the surrender zone, where Krishna takes charge of our mind and senses. He is called a Rishikesha. But today we discuss there is one very big problem. And that is the mind, intelligence, ego, because of which we are not able to surrender to Krishna. So how do we do that? We'll discuss first with an example, story. So all of you like stories? Listen to the story carefully, then I'll ask you a question. Once one man was doing meditation under a tree. Like this. So one snake came and bit him, very poisonous snake. Bit him on the feet and went. And he got a little disturbed. So he opened his eyes. What was that? He looked around and he saw one rat running away. And then he thought, oh, rat bit me. So he continued his meditation. Nothing happened to him. After 2 weeks, again you are sitting under that tree and doing meditation. One rat came and bit him. He opened his eyes. He said, who bit me? He looked around. He couldn't see that. He couldn't see anything. After a few seconds, he saw a snake go. So he thought, snake. And after half an hour, he died because of the poison. It's true story. So who killed him? The snake killed him? Rat killed him? No. First time the snake bit him. So the mind is so deadly that we underestimate its power. In the true story of Sachinandan Maharaj says his father was in the railways in Germany. So in the railways, they have these coaches where they keep deep freeze. They keep vegetables and all of those. It is some minus, they keep it in some minus 15 degrees, something very, very deep freeze. So, and his father's neighbor, his colleague, was one of the inspectors of those coaches. So he went in to check the freezer, that coach. So when he was inside, deep inside, suddenly from outside the door got locked. And he came running and he banged on the door was locked. And because he was an engineer, he is part of that railway company, he knows the technical things. That if you are stuck inside that coach, for more than some 8.8 minutes, something like that, then you will die because it's very cold there. So if the door closes, then you cannot survive more than 8 minutes. That is the technical established rule there. So his father's friend, he was started banging the door, open, 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 open. Nobody was listening to him. But he knew, he was looking at the watch, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. And then naturally he died. And then next day morning when they came to open, they opened, his body was totally blue. He had died from the cold freeze. And they were all shocked because last 24 hours there was no electricity there. So who killed him? Mind. So he was thinking, it's cold, in 8 minutes I will die, in 8 minutes I will die. So that thinking, mind is so powerful that it can transform many things into reality. Therefore, Krishna says in the Gita, we have to control the mind. Arjuna says, I cannot. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavatridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayo iva sudushkaram. Krishna tells Arjuna to practice meditation. Arjuna says, Krishna, I cannot do it because my mind is chanchalam. Chanchal means restless. Actually, chanchal word sounds very cute. Chanchal, like in my journal, I refer to my mind as chanchal. Today, chanchal is saying like this. So, chanchal appears to be a very nice feminine name. So, somebody may say, oh, Arjuna is saying my mind is chanchal, means my mind is restless. Restless means, oh, my child is also restless. So, mind may be very innocent and restless like a small child. That is what we will think. So Arjuna is clarifying, no, it is not like that. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna. Krishna, my mind is chanchal, but not like a sweet, cute child. What is the mind? Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati. Pramati means mad. Mad. Mind is not simply restless. Imagine somebody is mad, restless also and mad also. What deadly combination. Somebody may say, oh, okay, mind is restless and mad. But after all, mind is child, chanchal and mad. So mad child can be controlled. Mad child can be controlled. So Arjuna clarifies, mind is not child. Mind is not restless child. Mind is not mad child. Who is mind? Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavad. Balavad means strong like an elephant. So please don't think mind is chanchal like a small cute child. No, mind is restless, chanchalam, pramati, mad, and elephant, balavad. So imagine a restless, mad elephant. Somebody will say, okay, mind is restless, mind is mad, mind is very strong, but I will negotiate with mind and make my mind. I will talk to my mind and control my mind. Negotiation helps, no? So Arjuna says, no, you can't negotiate with mind because chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavat dridam. He is stubborn. He will not listen to you. So what are the 4 characteristics of the mind? First, chanchal means restless. Second, pramati means mad. Third, balavat means strong like an elephant. And fourth, stubborn, dridam. So Arjuna says, chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramati balavat dridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayur iva sudushkaram. I can control wind, Krishna, I can control cyclone, but I cannot control my mind. And can anybody control cyclone? They are the most powerful army in America. Can they control cyclone? When the cyclone comes, you may do relief management, but can you say, cyclone stop? So much you have weather reports. They will tell you cyclone is coming. But can they say cyclone is coming? But we have put a wall. We have put our machine guns. We are going to fight it. Can anybody stop cyclone? But Arjuna stopped when Indra was trying to destroy Kandava Prastha. Arjuna was so powerful that he could destroy cyclone, fire. And he is saying, I cannot control my mind. And Arjuna's mind was very controlled. He was in heavenly planets. Urvashi came to him. And she said, I'm so impressed by you. You are so handsome. I want to enjoy with you. So he said, no, you are like my mother. He respected her. She said, no, you can enjoy with me. You may have a wife on the planet, but here there are no earth rules. You can enjoy with me. There are no rules and laws and moral obligations of earth planet. And Indra is also telling you can enjoy with her. Full license. And she is the most beautiful woman, Urvashi. She was born from the lap of Narayana Vishnu. Uru means lap. And Vashi means one was born or stays in the lap. So when brahmacharis do a lot of work on our laptop, we say Urvashi is associated with Urvashi. Because laptop means Urvashi. So Arjuna could say no to the advances of Urvashi. So what mind control he must be having? He could control cyclone. And he's telling Krishna in the 6th chapter of Gita, I cannot control them. So then Krishna says, Abhyas and Vairagya, practice and detachment. So the point I'm saying is that how powerful the mind is. And we are underestimating its power. Sometimes what happens, devotees, they hear so much about mind's power, they start saying, oh, mind is so powerful, mind is so bad, Prabhuji, please help me, mind is troubling me. But what is happening is, as they are crying about the mind being very powerful, they are not actually crying, the mind only is crying. They are thinking that they are having awareness. My mind is troubling me. No, you are not saying, you don't even know that your mind is troubling you. When you are saying your mind is troubling you, your mind only is speaking. Mind is coming to the back door. Mind knows how to come and disturb you always. So the fact that you're disturbed means it is mind. Even if it is disturbed, that the mind is disturbing. That is also mind only. So how do we do? What do we do? So that solution we will discuss now. So first is awareness. Awareness means separating yourself from the mind. Mind is different from me. Just like this kartal. I don't say I kartal. I'll say this is my kartal. Means kartal is here. I'm different from. This is my watch. Watch is different from me, no? That's why I say this is my watch. So you say it is my hand, my eyes, my head, my body. All of you say no. Do you say my body is paining? No, we say my body is paining. So if this is your body, then who are you? That means your body is separate from you. Just like car and the driver, this body has a soul. So just like you say, I am not the body, you should also learn to say, I am not the mind. It is the mind saying. Sometimes you try. Today my mind is saying that I should not go for Sunday office program. My mind is saying, oh Mr. Mind, but I will go. So that's how you separate yourself from your mind. So how do we do that? With awareness. Means aware that my mind is constantly speaking. But how can we become aware of the mind? Because our identity is merged with the mind. You understand? Our identity has become one with the mind, that when the mind is speaking, we are not able to understand that it is a mind. You have experience like this? Anybody experience this in life? Oh, others are all self-controlled. Great. You are just come for this class to test me. Mind is, how many of us are aware that the mind is troubling me? Mind is doing this. No, we don't even know. Like when you get angry with someone, you shout. But if you have awareness, you will be saying like this. So right now, my mind is getting very angry. That is awareness. Like when chanting, I don't know if you have experienced sometimes, when chanting, Suddenly you start feeling hungry. Or you feel like checking WhatsApp message. Have you experienced? Anybody experienced this? Thank you. Now I'm feeling I'm with people like me. I was thinking earlier all God over. So this happens. So what happens to many of us when we feel like checking WhatsApp and chanting? We check the WhatsApp. Or you feel hungry, you go to the fridge, pick up something and eat. But those who have awareness, what they will do while chanting, they will become aware. They will say, my mind is now demanding food. My mind is now demanding to check WhatsApp. So my dear mind, wait till the japa is over. That's how awareness is there. And that's how awareness improves by chanting Hare Krishna. So first technique to control the mind is to become aware that the mind is troubling. Mind is speaking. You have to see mind as somebody else. So best way to do is while chanting, you should always keep asking. Whenever the mind is wandering here and there, what is happening now? What is the mind saying? Then you immediately become aware of the mind. Are you getting this? It's a very simple exercise. What is the mind saying now? That's how you know whether your mind is in the pleasure house or problem solving house or peace house. Very, very simple exercise. Just ask yourself, what is my mind saying now? That is awareness. And then, let's say you understand mind is demanding. I don't know if you experience sometimes chanting. Once I was chanting japa, my mind said, you have to call this Prabhuji. Call him right now. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Chant, listen to the holy name. Hare, no, this is most important. Call him right now. Call him right now. This is the most important. And because I was in that awareness space, I could see that the mind is shouting. Because the mind doesn't want you to chant. Doesn't want you to enter surrender space. Because in surrender space, in shelter space, you will find peace. Mind doesn't like to be peaceful. Mind wants to be agitated. So what do you do? I continued chanting. And the mind kept saying, most important. So then you know how I made my mind peaceful. I said, okay. After japa, the first thing I do is I call this Prabhu. Okay? Now keep quiet. No, call him. So I kept chanting, and then I felt peaceful. Shelter, surrender. The mind also became quiet. So after japa, what am I supposed to do to honor my mind? And you know something? I didn't remember only. The mind did not remind me. And then I did other things. And next day morning, I picked my japa as usual to chant. I started the japa, and suddenly, what did the mind say? Call that Prabhuji. It is most important. If it was most important, why I did not remember that after japa? Anybody has experience like this?
Yes.
You're honest, you will admit. This is how mind is. Mind will tell you this is most important, but afterwards, push, there's nothing there. So mind has many grand ideas. Mind will say he's a bad man, he's like this, he's so bad, all those things. If you actually become aware, it becomes there's nothing. It's like a hot balloon. So Prabhupada gave a very simple technique for mind management. It's fit kind of Bhagavatam purpose. He says one word management for mind is neglect, ignore. Ignore the mind. Constantly saying, So awareness is needed. So how do we now? You will say, Prabhuji, how do we improve awareness? There are many ways. One is chanting, which I spoke just now. Just keep chanting when the mind is protesting, then you will become aware of the mind. Just keep chanting when you're chanting, suddenly the leg will start paining. If I experienced. Suddenly you feel, pain ho raha hai. Something mind will tell you. So anything the mind says, just don't do, just sit like this only and chant. And then you will feel peace. And mind will also become thanda. And after japa, you will tell the mind, tell me now, what is the mind has nothing to say after that. So this is one technique, chanting. Let us say you can't chant because the mind is too wild. Then I'll tell you another technique. If you have a mobile phone, smartphone, you are using all of you. Sorry. So what you can do, you can pick an alarm for, you can take the smartphone, put alarm for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, keep it in front and sit like this and breathe. Inhale to the count of 4, hold it for 2 seconds, and then exhale to the count of 4. As you inhale and exhale, focus on listening to the sound of the breath that is going in and coming out. And you will see all the kachra inside getting washed as you're breathing in and out. And after 10 minutes, when the alarm rings, open your eyes. Even if your mind has wandered, don't get disturbed. Don't start fighting with your mind. If you fight, then the mind has won. Because mind only is shouting that. That means you are in the problem-solving house. You are not in the peace house. So mind wanders, it's okay. Anybody's mind wanders? If your mind is not wandering, then you are a pure devotee, or you have to see some psychiatrist. Mind has to wander if you are a normal human being. So sometimes when you are breathing like this, I do breathing every day. My mind wanders and suddenly the alarm rings. I come back. So what do? Oh, my mind has wandered. Oh, no, it's okay. Okay. But so awareness is there, no, at least. Awareness is more important than controlling the mind. If you are thinking of controlling the mind without awareness, that is mind only saying, mind has to control. Mind. You are not, your identity is merged with the mind. So this is one, breathing is one, chanting is one. Third is journaling, writing journal. Today, I have got up in the morning at 5 o'clock. Krishna, thank you for so many gifts you gave me. And as you're writing journal, suddenly your mind will say, get up, go and drink water. So that time what you should do? Right now, my mind is saying, go and drink water. You should write that. So when you write that, you have got your mind. Samjay, police has caught the thief. Writing is the most powerful way to become aware of the mind. I'm not speaking on controlling the mind. Controlling is later. Krishna only can control. Gopinath, Tummi Rishikesha, Rishikadamiya, Tara is Samskriti Gore. Only Krishna can control the mind. That horses, remember the example. We can't, how much ever you do, you will ultimately, you have to give up. So better become aware of the mind. So when you write journal, so I do that. Thank you, Krishna. Yesterday was a great day. Yesterday I had one class of Prabhupada. It was so nice. And as I'm writing my journal, suddenly my mind is saying many things, right? And you become aware. Your mind is saying, get up and drink water. So I stop writing about what I liked in Prabhupada's class. That is what I'm writing. But I stop that and I start a new paragraph saying, right now my mind is saying, go and drink water. So the mind has got scared because I've caught the mind. And then the mind is quiet. Then I continue writing about the class which I heard yesterday. Thank you, Krishna, that Prabhupada's class was nice. And the second thing I really want to thank you, Krishna, is that yesterday I met this devotee who was wonderful Vaishnava and he was talking about Krishna. And then suddenly the mind will say something. And when you become aware of what mind is saying, write it down. So this way you are separating yourself from them. And third way to control the mind is prayer. Coming in front of Allah and just standing in front of them. And you'll see your mind is going everywhere. Krishna, my mind is going here. Just like journaling, you become aware. Chanting also you become aware. Breathing, you become aware. I call this BJP formula. Breathing. In India, I cannot say BJP because it's become political example. In American case, BJP formula is breathing, journaling, and prayer. Prayer means chanting also and prayer also. So this is very good technique to become aware of the mind. Is it clear? So once you become aware, then what do? You may say, okay, I become aware of the mind now. But I'm still helpless, Prabhuji. Mind is troubling me. Mind is selling so many desires. Prabhuji, what is the use of being aware? I'm aware. I write journal every day. I'm aware. What to do? Then second technique. First principle is what? Awareness. Second is acceptance. Accepting all the thought that the mind is giving. Don't fight it. Don't fight the mind. The more you resist, the more it persists. Accept. So acceptance means my mind is giving all these horrible thoughts. I accept, not the thoughts, I accept that the mind is giving these thoughts. There's a difference between accepting lusty thoughts and accepting that the mind is giving lusty thoughts. I'm not saying accept lusty thoughts. I'm saying I accept that the mind is giving lusty thoughts. I'm not happy about it, but I accept. I accept. So what happens, the mind becomes, so when you accept, the mind becomes, it's like, I don't know if you know this, husband and wife relationship, okay? They are, sometimes there is fighting at home, most of the time maybe, sometimes, I don't know. No. So husband-wife jokes are very popular in India. So they have conversation. So there are like we have very technique of how to have very good relationship. They say first to listen to your spouse. First listen, understand what your spouse is saying. Once you have listened and understood, then you can be understood. Then you can express what you want to say. And this is a very famous technique. First understand, then you should want to be understood. So similarly with the mind, awareness means basically listening to what the mind is saying. And acceptance means understanding what the mind is saying. And once you have accepted it, the mind becomes peaceful. Because the mind wants attention constantly. So when you say I accept, the mind is now saying this. So the mind is accepted, mind is being understood. So if you understand that the mind is another person, the mind has become peaceful. And then the third step comes, which is awareness is first, second is, third is aspiration. Aspiration means you should have some goal, some purpose. And when you have that purpose and you remind gently the mind, you have to go there, you have to chant 16 rounds, you have to go to temple, that is the goal of my life, to serve devotees. Then the mind will cooperate because first you understood the mind. Just like in your husband-wife relationship, if you first listen to your, there is a Pakistani poet, I love his poetry. His name is Mushtaq Ahmed Yusufi. So he says, वो मुझे जहर देकर मारती तो दुनिया की नजर में आ जाती पर उसका अंदाज एक कत्ल तो देखो उसने हमसे शादी कर ली. So those who don't know Hindi, I'm sorry, I cannot translate it. It means this poet is saying that if she had given me poison and killed me, the whole world would have known. But look at her murdering style, she just married me. So this husband-wife jokes are very popular everywhere. But in relationship, if you want your wife or husband to understand you, then first you understand what they are saying. Then they become satisfied, then they listen to you. So awareness and acceptance means first understanding what the mind is saying, becoming aware, and then connecting to your aspiration. I want to become pure devotee. I want to improve in bhakti. Then the mind, there's a chance that the mind will at least cooperate. Otherwise, I give a personal example of this. I practice this awareness, acceptance, aspiration. I wrote a whole book on this called Mind Your Mind. And I speak these 3 techniques. So I will tell you how I practiced. I took a yatra to Vrindavan with 150 people once. I was the yatra leader, I was the lecturer, I was doing everything. So I told, tomorrow is last day of Kartik. Everybody will go for Mangalarti tomorrow. 4 o'clock. Prabhupada Samadhi. Everybody will come? Yes, Prabhuji. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. But Kartik is most important month. And we should all be there at 4 o'clock. Everybody will come? Yes, Prabhuji. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And I was the yatra leader. Saffron, Brahmachari, preacher. And everybody, yes. And next day morning, I don't know if you know this. I'll tell you about my personality style. Everybody has a personality type, right? So my personality is I'm an introvert. And I like to be alone. And I get scared of crowd. I get stressed. When there is less people, I become very happy. So that is my personality. Right? Everybody has different personality. So next day morning at 3:30 when I woke up to go for Mangalarti, I was gripped with fear. Because last day of Kartik, I knew that there will be at least 7,000, 8,000 people for Mangalarti in Krishna Balaram temple. I said, my mind said, no, not going to Mangalarti. We cannot go for Mangalarti. Because the mind, I've got claustrophobia. I have got some issues. I can't just, my mind is, crowd, there will be 7,000 people and constantly. And I was shivering what to do now. But I have only announced. They will say, I'm not there. The big, and why did I say this? I was still in my mind. I just was bewildered. Yesterday, last night, I was giving a lot of enthusiasm. But morning, my mind was protesting like anything. Don't go for Mangalarti. Don't go. I said, but what? Krishna. So what did I do? First, I did awareness. Breathing. What is happening? Mind doesn't want to go. And second, accept. What does acceptance mean here? I accept that don't like crowd. I accept that I like small people, less people, and peaceful. Accept. That is the personality. First become aware. What is the mind saying? Then accept my situation. And then gently come to the third. What is the third principle? Aspiration. Because I accepted it, I became aware. Then I could tell my mind, my dear mind, today is last day of Kartik. So much mercy, Vrindavan temple, Krishna Balaram. Please let us go. So that, but then again, the fourth step is very important. Be gentle with the mind. So I went for Mangalarti, but I stood at the eastern gate near the door. So crowd was there. I would go out of the door for a few minutes, few seconds, and then again come back. But then the mind is also happy that oh, he's not fanatic, standing right in the front and jumping. So mind is also happy that I'm going out of the temple hall, away from the crowd. But then, please, my dear mind, last day, come back. And when I'm in the temple hall, Krishna, please. Gopinath, Anat dekhiya more, tumhe Rishikesha, Rishikadamiya, Tara ye sampati ghore. Anat dekhiya more. Krishna, please see that I am an orphan. In this material world, there is nobody who can help me in my spiritual life. Anath, I am Anath. You take charge of my life. And you say that to Krishna. But if the mind is protesting, become aware, accept, connect with Krishna gently. And fourth is very important. How did I practice gentle with the mind? By going out of the temple hall. The entire half an hour of Mangalarti, at least 5-6 times I went out for a few seconds. Then again came back. So that way, I was happy, peaceful. So this is the way we can live with the mind. Otherwise, the mind will keep trouble. So the most important principle of managing the mind is not controlling it. Because who will control it? If you control it, what will happen? If you control the mind, what will happen? Struggle. So which house you will be living in? Struggle house. And if you are living in struggle house always, where you will go to after some time? Sense gratification. You have to go to surrender. So surrender means Krishna. Surrender means there is no fight there. There is no fight in the mind also. Krishna, see, this is the way my mind is, no? Krishna. Krishna, Prabhupada says, prayer means telling Krishna, please accept me. Krishna, please accept me. This is the way my mind is. I have all these desires. Dirty, bad, ugly. See, you're always judging others also and judging ourselves also. So stop judging yourself as bad person. It's okay. Krishna, please take care. And then when you love Krishna, automatically you will say, my mind is rascal. Let it come out. Let it come out of love. Don't force yourself to say, my mind is rascal. Don't do it as sadhana. Let it become, like somebody is in love. Out of love, when you say, I'm a fool, that is sweet. But if you say as sadhana, as a practice, like one of my boys, IYS boy, he was getting married. He wanted to become grahastha. So I connected him with the marriage board of our temple. So they showed him some alliances. For the first girl he went, to see for marriage alliance. He told her, I'm a fool, I'm a dog, I'm a pig, I'm a worm in the stool, I'm a fallen. She ran away. First, you have to present your best part, right? Not lie. You don't have to lie to the girl you are getting married. You have to be honest, but you can't be a fool. So similarly, Krishna, you can't go and say, Krishna, I'm a fallen, I'm a pig. No, wait, relax. If you keep crying, Krishna will say, does Krishna have shortage of servants? If there is a billionaire, multi-billionaire, and he has so many servants, and if one servant is coming in front of him every day to give tea, coffee, whatever, serving, and he's only crying, I'm fallen, I'm pig, I'm horrible. So that billionaire will say, Arey, you don't serve me, just be happy. Because he has no shortage of servants. So Krishna has many, many servants, many devotees. So if you are serving Krishna, be happy. See, when you are serving a billionaire, big man, the servant has to be pleasing. When we go to the DT room for dressing or aarti, pujaris must be having this instruction. You have to be smiling. Vrindavan, how many of you gone to Vrindavan temples? Okay, have you gone to Nandagaon? When you enter, what do they say when you enter the temple? Haso, tali bajao. When you go in front of Krishna Balaram, they say, ha 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 ha, they laugh. Have you seen this? They tell you should laugh, you should clap, Krishna, I'm here, you should be happy. That's why Krishna said in the Gita, so sukham kartumavya. Be happy while practicing Krishna. Prabhupada also said two things, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. There are two instructions there. You chant Hare Krishna also and be happy also. What do you think? I will chant Hare Krishna, then automatically I will become happy. You will not become automatically happy because when you are chanting Hare Krishna, you are with your mind only. So you have to make a choice of being. So that means basically accepting who you are. Accepting that you have done all those past, whatever karma because of getting all these dirty desires in your heart. Accepting that you are, don't criticize yourself always. So if you do this, that is acceptance. Awareness means BJP formula. Separating yourself from the mind. And aspiration means having something noble. I will end with one story. It is a very nice story. 1675, Raigad Fort of Shivaji. And Aurangzeb was a Muslim ruler. He was a threat. So Shivaji had made a rule that after sunset, nobody can come inside the fort, nobody can go out of the fort. It was on the top of a mountain, Sayadri's top. And one Hirkani Bai, one lady, she used to come to the fort every day to sell her wares. And evening before sunset, she had to go. So what happened? She got a little late and the sun set and the gate closed. She came to the gate. She said, I have to go out. The soldier said, sorry, gates are closed. You have to be inside the fort now till tomorrow morning. She said, no, please, just one person. Let me open the door, I'll go. No, Shivaji Maharaj has ordered. You cannot go. She started crying. I have to go because my small baby is at home. Whole night the baby will be crying. I can't leave my child alone. The soldier said, no, you cannot go. So then she said, no, I have to go. So then she started looking at the fort everywhere. No way to escape. Very tight security. There was one particular section in the fort eastern side where Shivaji had not put any wall, any door. Because it was so steep that even the powerful generals will not dare to climb. No human being can go from there. So she saw, there are no soldiers here. So she climbed on the top of that, and then she saw below, which was, I think, some 3,000 feet or something huge, because I don't know the exact number. So then because she had to go to her baby, she was obsessed with that. Slowly she started going down. This is a true story. Hirkani Bai, very famous. Everybody in Maharashtra knows this story. She slowly started climbing. As she was climbing down, the bats were flying around her. She saw some snakes go. She saw some scorpions. Then she came down of the fort after some time. And then she had to go to the jungle. Then she reached home. And some thorny bushes cut her sari, her hands. And next day morning, she was again back in the fort to sell her wares. But the night shift had not changed. That soldier had extra duty that day. He was at the gate and he saw Hirkani Bai come in the morning. He said, "Hey, you are coming? You are supposed to be inside." She said, "I went." Immediately alarm was, security alarm buzzer. There is somebody who can escape from this fort. Shivaji Maharaj came. He came and said, "How did you escape?" But I went from there. He said, "Show me." He showed. And I climbed that, and from there I went down. Shivaji Maharaj looked at her. "Are you sure?" "Yes." "Okay, do it again. Can you do it again?" "I can." "Go." So she climbed and she stood on the top. And then she saw below. She started shivering. She started crying. "No, I can't do it." And then she came down. "I can't do it." And then Shivaji Maharaj looked at her body. Her hands were bleeding because of the thorns. And by seeing her simplicity, he knew that she's speaking the truth. And then he said, "The biggest generals and fighters cannot do this. Biggest commandos, they cannot climb this." How did she do it? Because her mind was obsessed with an aspiration. What was her aspiration? To be with her baby. So when you have some higher aspiration, the mind will cooperate. Next day she could not do because there was no urgency, to go to the baby. So if you have urgency of Krishna consciousness, you don't realize how much the mind will cooperate. And that urgency in Krishna consciousness will come when we hear about Krishna. Like this Sunday feast class, every week we hear Bhakti Vriksha, Bhakti Shastri, hearing about Krishna with aspiration. When aspiration is strong, then you can surpass the mind's challenges. But till that aspiration becomes strong, you have to practice awareness and acceptance. Awareness will improve by BJP formula: breathing, journaling, and praying. And acceptance means affirming, telling that I accept who I am with all my faults. I forgive myself. I love myself. And this is affirmation you can try. I now forgive myself. I love myself. I accept myself just as I am. Like that. So, yes. And then aspiration. And then go towards Krishna. If we do that, we can live the mind peacefully. So now we'll have a few minutes of question answers. I've kept some 10 minutes for questions. And after questions, there is a very, very, very important announcement. So you have to stay here for regarding your next week's color festival. But the next 10-15 minutes, we can have questions. Hare Krishna. So we have time till 2:10 for question answers. So we have 20 minutes. Yes, Hare Krishna. I see one hand there and one here. First we'll take Prabhuji's question, then Shyam Kishore.
The aspiration is there even among people who are committed to a lot of other values which you don't really get. So in which case, the aspiration, they have the principle, they have the values towards them. So what are the values and principles that the devotee should attach?
Depends what is their aspiration.
For example, reading is my aspiration. Reading about scriptures, plenty of commentaries. So that's my aspiration. But if that is the aspiration that I'm setting for myself, and I have to, because chanting, all other things are say that is something in the early stage of being aware and then accept. And these stages it is being covered. So my confusion is I read a lot. So I keep on reading, and that's my aspiration. That really goes on and on for many hours. So that's why I'm a little confused about that area.
So you're confused about what? Read. You like to read, so read. What is the problem?
Because the rest of the activities
like what?
Coming to temple, worshipping, and japa.
So you have to see that in connection with scripture. See, I'll tell you, bhakti. Like for example, anything you have in life. See, we are living in an interdependent society. We can't just have everything our way, right? So scriptures you can read the whole day, but at some point of time you will feel lonely, or you will feel you need friends, right? So if you need friends, then you have to serve them, right? So basically, if you see a holistic view of life, then you will come to temple. Because in temple there is a social need also fulfilled. You can serve devotees. chanting Hare Krishna because chanting will improve awareness. So if you see a holistic package, if you see everything, then you will give enough time to scripture study also. But if you say, no, I have to study whole day, then your mind is cheating you. Mind is telling you that you are not happy. Mind is telling you that you have to read whole day. It's not that if you read whole day, your mind will become peaceful. Therefore, you need a holistic view towards life. So read scriptures and then also understand that life has many aspects to it. That is, scriptures is not, spiritual life is not the only aspect of your life. Health is also there, no? If you say, I'll just chant Hare Krishna whole day, I will not take care of my health, then you'll get disease. You have to do that. I may not speak about health because I don't have that mandate. The mandate given to me is speak about Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, mind. I'm sitting on the Vyasasana. But there are devotees who will speak pure Krishna Katha. I know one sannyasi. He speaks pure Krishna Katha. He speaks so many shlokas, but every day he does 2 hours yoga. But he doesn't speak about yoga in the class. Because we are practicing Krishna consciousness. So you speak on Krishna consciousness. After the class, you meet him. So basically, devotees have to lead a balanced life. So I give a very simple formula. Whenever you are confused, ask yourself, are you taking care of these 4 things? All of us, if these 4 things are balanced, then you don't have to worry about the mind. First is health. Health means body and mind. Both are included in health. Mind health also and body health also. Mind health by journaling, breathing, pranayam, prayers, and body health means yoga, exercise, walking, all that. So health is one. Second, heart. Heart, not the biological heart that pumps blood. The emotional and spiritual heart. Which means, are you feeling love in Krishna consciousness? Are you feeling happy when you are reading scripture? Are you feeling connected with Krishna when you are chanting, when you are reading scriptures or associated with devotees? Are you feeling Krishna's presence in your life? So whatever helps you, that is your homestay, that is your area of shelter, you do that activity. For some it is memorizing shloka, for some it is deity worship, whatever. So that is heart. Take care of your heart every day. At least sometime every day for your heart. So health, heart, third is head. Head means, mind intelligence has to be sharpened every day. Like reading good literature, learning about, of course, Prabhupada books are there. That comes in the heart. Your heart has to be nourished. But your heart is not being nourished by Prabhupada books. Your heart is more nourished by deity worship. Then you read Prabhupada books for the head. Basically, take care of your head. Head means not Prabhupada books. Head means intelligence should be sharp. How that will be? By hearing classes, maybe by reading Prabhupada books. I don't know how. For you, your head will be sharpened. You do that. So I read Prabhupada books, but I also read some other good literature regularly. So I feel my head is taken care today. Like I've done a lot of research on brain waves, beta waves, alpha waves, theta and delta, and then now the gamma waves the scientists have discovered. So at what frequency they operate, how it affects our chanting. So I've done a lot of research on it, but I never speak it in class. But my head is satisfied. But I don't read 6 hours. Once in a week, for some time I read so that, or 5 minutes in a day, something so that the basic idea is the head should be, clarity should be there. Clarity, intelligence should be sharp. Some investment for that. What is the first? Health, heart, and the fourth is hands, which means seva, giving. When we do service, that's when actually the heart is taken care. So hands means contributing. See, how much ever you enjoy in life, you will not be happy till you serve. Because nature of the soul is to serve. So how much are you serving? How much are you serving? So every day, you have to do some service. Either in temple or calling up some devotee or counseling someone, cleaning pots, something beyond yourself. That means you're taking care of your hands. So So when all these four are taken care, then our life is complete.
Health, heart, head, and heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, Shanti Shokku.
And very wonderful class. How to hear in such a way that it transforms into a very serious aspiration.
Shrutasya pumsam suchirashramasya nanmanjasa suriviritotha satadgunanu shravanam mukunda padarvindam hridayeshu yesham. Today Goswami says how to hear. There are 6 things you have to do. If you want that hearing to become a blazing fire of aspiration for Krishna. First is Shrutasya, first hear. First is hear. Shrutasya pumsam shuchira. Shuchira means here for a long time. It's not a one-day project. It's not a one-year project. 40 years, we willing to give 40 years. Be patient. Patience is one of the qualities. Shuchira means lambe. You have to become a marathon runner, not a sprint, 100 meters. Krishna consciousness is not 100-meter sprint. It is a marathon race. Okay, long time. Second, third, Shrutasya pumsam suchira shamasya. Hard work. Hearing requires hard work. If you are feeling sleepy while hearing, get up, stand and hear. Some of us go to sleep. We think hearing is a good way to get sleep. When you are hearing, if you feel sleepy, get up and stand. And if you still feel sleepy, walk and hear, but hear. Shamasya means hard work like that. And the second kind of Shukdev Goswami says, Shrunvata Granatascha Swacheshtitam. Shrunvata Shraddhaya Nityam. Shraddha se nitya suno, but Granatascha Swacheshtitam. Hard work. Studying scriptures and hearing requires hard work. So that is the third thing. Then what will happen? Shukdev says, Kalena Nanti Dirghena Bhagavan Vishategani. If you hear with hard work, Krishna will come in the heart. Anyway, 6 are there. Shrutasya pumsam suchira shramasya. Suchira means long time. Shramasya means hard work. Nan manjasa means hear in detail. Don't look for shortcut. So Krishna went to Mathura and Krishna killed Kamsa. This is Janmashtami essence class. But how did Krishna enter Mathura? Whom did he meet first? He met Kubja, he met that flower garland maker Sudama, and Krishna smiled at Kubja. The Acharyas give 10 reasons why Krishna smiled at Kubja. So here in detail, don't just, like, oh, I know the Kaliya pastime, I've heard it so many times. So give me some 10 lessons from Kaliya pastime. Or, you give me 5 lessons from Kaliya. Today we are going to discuss 5 lessons from Kaliya. K stands for kindness, A for aspiration, Kaliya, like that acronym. And the whole class is on acronym only. And there is nothing about Kaliya pastime. That is not correct. Nan Manjasa means hear the pastime. We hear about philosophy in detail. So that is the fourth. Shrutasya pumsam suchira shramasya nan manjasa surivir. Surivir means hear from proper devotees. Don't hear from people who give all word jugglery and they say that Krishna means soul and Pandava means 5 senses, Kurukshetra means all that. All mundane things they say, but they don't say surrender to Krishna. You have to hear from devotees mainly. Surivir. And then Iditortaha, the last one means hear proper meanings of the verses or the katha. From basically hear purports also. Don't just hear the pastime. So these 6 things. Shrutasya pumsam suchirashramasya nan manjasa suriviri tota. If you hear like this, tatatgunanu shravanam mukunda, then pada ravindam hridayeshu yesham. Krishna lotus feet will be permanently fixed in the heart and your aspiration will be very high.
Sorry, which verse is this?
This third canto, I don't remember the numbers.
3:34.
You got it? Huh?
3:34.
3:13:4. You can always search on the database, we'll get it after that class.
And one more thing is also to this clarification, that many times, if I don't have time to hear, like specifically here, and I'm doing service, I'm doing other things than hearing, I see that the hearing may not be as effective because I'm also engaged in other.
Yeah.
So how to also make that hearing also effective?
Oh, that is multitasking. Huh? That will not help. That will help because at least some hearing is going on. But you have to do exclusive hearing also. So that is bonus hearing. Like chanting, devotees chant 16 rounds nicely and then they also chant extra when they are driving. But your main rounds can't be multitasking. Like that. You're getting what I'm saying? So we need to do hearing as that is extra hearing. That is one question. Mataji, we'll take one question from the Matajis. You had two questions.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you again for a wonderful class. So you had mentioned that when your mind distracts, just ignore it. Make a point of what the mind is saying. So awareness and then ignore. And it will lead to aspiration where you can, because you accepted it, what the mind is saying, you can then share your aspirations with the mind. But Prabhuji, there are a lot of times when I experience that I share my aspiration with the mind, like, oh, I really want to go today for Mangalarti. And mind will say, yeah, but yesterday you did so much hard work, just take, take a nap, go a little bit later, go for Shringarati. And then I say, okay, chalo, Shringarati, I'll make a compromise. I'm being gentle, I'll make a compromise Shringarati. Shringarati time comes to wake up for Shringarati, mind says, and you already did Mangalarti. Shringarati, darshan ka picture milega, you go in the afternoon for Rati, you go in the evening for Gaurati, and you evening. So how can you, there's this struggle between acceptance and aspiration, and it keeps going back and forth, and it ends up in something.
That is because the best way, if you want to come for Mangalarti, tell 10 Matajis. And tomorrow I'm going for Mangalarti. Tomorrow I'm going for Mangalarti. Then morning you will come for Mangalarti. Because, sometimes some boys, nowadays Maya is very powerful, Nowadays one of the biggest Maya attacks is pornography. So some boys, they come and they say, I'm addicted to pornography, how to overcome. So what the solution we give different, and nothing works. So I give them simple solution. Install one app. There is one app called xwatch.com. If you install that app, then you have some 4 or 5 accountability partners. As soon as there is an inappropriate site, those people will immediately come to know what you are doing. And every week they get notification. And every week on Saturday evening, that your accountability partner will get an email of what all sites you visited in the whole week. So why I'm giving this example is because accountability is the best way to pursue what you want to do. When you're accountable, that's why are you going to office every day? Why are you able to get your project? Because you're accountable to someone there. In a Hare Krishna, we're not accountable to anyone. So we don't become strong. So I have accountability partners. I have 4 accountability partners. Every day I send my sadhana card scores to them. They don't see it every day, but from my side I know I have to report to them. So if you have something like that, see, the point is the best way to stop yourself from doing bad things is by having somebody watch over you. Because infamy, bad reputation is everybody scared of. Nobody wants to become Bandam. Right? Nobody wants to become a bad person. So, even when those people are, they are caught stealing and all that, if the policeman is there, then they won't steal. What I'm saying is, when you are accountable, when you have fear of shame and fear of losing honor, that is a good motivation for the beginning. But once you come every day, then you get taste, then you'll automatically. Like when I joined the ashram, I didn't like to get up for Mangalarti, but I wanted to prove I'm better than others. I'm as good as them. So I was all passionate. Signing the Mangalarti register. Then it became habit. And now sometimes my body is exhausted, tired, and I can't get up. Mind has become, you get up at morning because of that practice.
Gentle with the mind is a type of compromise.
Yeah, I just gave that one of the technique. That's like, when you see the philosophy is very simple. Comfort the afflicted and afflict the comforted. If you are too comfortable, then beat. And if you are too already beaten, sad, already feeling depressed, already gone through abuse in childhood and trauma, then give comfort. But if you are too comfortable and complacent, one day we will do bhakti. When Krishna calls, I will come. Then hit them hard. No, you are going to die. Maya is very strong. Come, then shake them. That is our preaching strategy. That is how we deal with the mind also. Mind is very complacent. Then push the mind to come to temple. But the mind is already exhausted and tired because of too much pushing. Then relax. Okay, we'll stop here. It's 2:10. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare.
Praise Vraja Bihari Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Because we are beginning to